Hello there, Libra. How are you today? Welcome to your love reading. Today, let's take a look at what they are thinking about you at the moment, right now. Let's take a look, see if there's something that they're afraid to say, what their next moves are. If you have any kind of, advice from universe, we'll take a look at all of that, right? Remember, this is a collective reading. Take what resonates and leave the rest, right? Here we go. Bottom of the deck, we've got the Emperor. The Emperor is very authoritative, person that is in control of their emotions, of their surroundings, very powerful energy, right? This is an individual who is incredibly powerful. Like, they know what they want, they know what they're doing, and they're not afraid to tell you, right? So they're very committed as well, which is really nice. We like people who are committed. Yeah, and which makes sense here when we've got the Ten of Wands, because the Emperor is committed and has a sense of responsibility and may carry on more burdens than they need to, right? Because they are the Emperor, they rule their domain, and so they have a deep sense of responsibility to the point where they carry a lot of burdens, and they may seem a little bit burnt out. And so these people here, because of that responsibility, may not necessarily know how to balance their time with you, right? And you may be competing for time with this individual. And again, this person is wanting things to move along, but they feel stuck. This may be a person who's also very impatient, right? Because an Emperor is used to getting their way. And if they're not getting their way with you, because they've said, this is what I want, for example, and you're kind of stepping back and saying, well, I don't know if this is what I want. So they're getting it kind of impatient, and they're saying, okay, I don't have a lot of time to waste dilly-dallying, trying to figure out what's going to happen in this relationship. If we're stuck, I need to move along. I need to make some bold decisions here. That might be what's going on in this situation, because they're very impatient. They can have that tendency of impatience. They want something new, right? They've realized that they're ready for something new. So in the recent past, they've cleared away the things that no longer work for them, and they're ready to start something new with you, and they're getting impatient. But what they're not seeing is that you're probably seeing that they're carrying on too much. How do you have room for me? Because you have too many sticks that you're carrying. So if this is, say, like a high-powered individual, somebody who owns their own business, or somebody who's very devoted to their business, or like a person who is, training for something, like, or they're going to school for something, you're probably stepping back saying, how do you have time? You have so much to deal with. But they're saying, I want to start something new with you. Make up your mind, because I want this to progress along. But you're kind of like, well, shed some of those sticks. Yeah, and this is going to create conflict and rivalry, right? Because you're trying to compete for this person's attention and time. But because they're the Emperor and they feel like they have a sense of responsibility to anything and everything around them, you're having to compete. And there's a lot of chaos, and there might be a little bit of arguing here because you're trying to fight for your place in these set of sticks here, right? What they're not telling you is that they're tired and they really need to kind of step back. But as the Emperor, they can't just step back, right? But they're tired and they want to get some perspective. They want to rest. They need this, but they can't tell you that they need this, right? Because they are the Emperor. They can't show any kind of weakness. And if there's a part of them that feels like they need to take a break from all of this burden, so that they can kind of put things in perspective, this is what they really need, but they just don't want to accept it, right? And they're not going to tell you that they need rest because they're go, go, go. That would be a sign of weakness, and they don't want to show weakness. And here's the thing. They really see you as somebody that's very loving, that can really give to this relationship. They can see you as their counterpart, right? Because an Emperor who is so busy and overburdened wants this. And this is how they see you. This is what they admit to themselves about you, about the connection with you. They see you as very giving and very loving, and as a complement to their big, bold energy. This is what they want, and this is what they feel that they need. Now for you, you see this person as somebody that is very emotionally fulfilling for you, and that you want to establish this harmony, this joy, this completion with this individual. But the problem is you're in competition for a place in his hand or her hand because they're too busy, right? So I think both of you want this same thing. It's just that you want a little bit more time with this person, and you're having to compete for a place here, right? This is a person you're dealing with that is really involved in something else. And all around them is telling them that you need to shed some of these wands that aren't yours to carry. Maybe delegate. And here's the thing, the Emperor might have some difficulty delegating, right? So if they have a business, for example, they need to let go of some of those things and hire other people to do things for them so that they have more space here that they can give you, right? And you can create this harmony. But there's a part of them that doesn't want to let go, right? Because an emperor is very controlling. They want everything to be under their control. But everything around them is telling them, look, you need to get rid of some of these sticks, because this is a wonderful union that you can have with this individual that you absolutely admire and really, really care for. You need to make room for this to happen, right? So you need to shed some of these sticks and walk away from these responsibilities that aren't really even yours to carry, right? Right, and this is what they're hoping for. I mean, wow, look at this. 10 of Cups, the Lovers, you really want to hope that they can, you are really hoping that they will commit to you. The Lovers card is a deep commitment. It's that, you know, you really see this individual as someone that is incredibly special, and vice versa, right? And they really want this. You're both hoping for the same thing, a union, a commitment that's going to be very deep, because they see you, you know, they see you as something that they really want to be with, right? They see you as the Queen of Cups, somebody that can really emotionally, you know, give to them, pour love into the relationship. They see a connection with you, and they're really hoping for that connection. Tower moment. Something is going to happen here where they're going to have to shed some of these responsibilities. When they walk away from it, it's going to really be very difficult for this individual. That's where you come in as the Queen of Cups, because you're going to come in very compassionate and very nurturing and very understanding. And you're going to be fair, and you're going to, you know, help this individual, you know, get through this, because the Tower moment is a big deal. It's something that's going to happen for them so that they can have this spiritual awakening. The thing that they're refusing to acknowledge, that they need to take a break from and take a rest from, so that they can get in touch with the divine. They're refusing this. They believe that they don't have time for that. But the problem is, there were hints that he or she needed to take a break and really kind of go within, but they refused it. And so now, universe has a very interesting way of making things work out. And now you have a Tower moment, and this person is going to have to deal with this event that's going to shake things up for them. And that's where you're going to have to step in. Okay? All right, let's see what the other outcomes are. What else do we need to know about here? Yeah, so this person is going to have to deal with this kind of shadowy behavior, right? Like working too much, or not knowing how to balance time, or the shadowier side of an emperor, right? Because that was the initial energy. There was the emperor being too controlling, not delegating, right? Being upset, being impatient, being angry, negative thinking, negative self-thought. It could also be, you know, something that's physical, like if they're not taking care of themselves and they really are breaking down, but they are refusing to deal with their mental health or their physical health. An emperor isn't going to think about their mental or spiritual health. They're just going to want to do things, right? They're about action, and they're very, very authoritative. Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of love between the two of you, right? And you're going to work at this romance so that you can connect and commit to one another. But this individual is going to have to shed this shadow behavior, walk away from it, deal with the lessons from the Tower moment, right? They have to, if they're workaholics, man, they need, that's shadow behavior too, because you don't know how to balance. You're going to lose out on the opportunity for love because they work too much. You see how that works? You know, shadow behavior doesn't necessarily always mean nefarious, right? It could just be that you're self-sabotaging, right? Page of Wands. So there's some new energy here that's coming between the two of you. Excitement, energy, you know, you're going to be creative. Lots of passion between the two of you. Something new is going to transpire here because you do have such deep attraction for one another, and you want this. You want this harmony and joy and love between the two of you. You want to cultivate that, and you're the perfect person for it because you're coming in as the Queen of Cups, and they see you in that role. So you're going to really help foster this energy here. The Knight of Cups, right? Page of Wands, again, energy, passion. Knight of Cups is very charming, very romantic. Yeah, graceful, all of that. Look at that. Wow. Wow, you've got the marriage card here, or a card of commitment, right? So when this individual deals with this Tower moment and really clears out this self-sabotaging moment and walks away from it, leaves it behind so that they can walk towards you and create this wonderful, beautiful moment here. I mean, you can deepen this relationship because you do have commitment. Both of you want to commit to one another because there's such deep attraction there. You have that opportunity to create something really wonderful. Yeah, the problem here is that this individual, if say they work too much, You know, there's a part of them that feels like they need to create stability in the relationship. And so that's sometimes hard for someone to let go of if they feel a sense of duty to the person, especially with the earlier energy of the Emperor, right? They feel a sense of duty to and responsibility towards the relationship. And so they're not going to let go of that, right? So let's take a look, see if there's any other advice that we need here from the cards. King of Wands, yeah. This person has a lot of energy, a lot of power. This is the visionary. So that's why I'm saying, is this person a CEO? Is this person, you know, a business owner, something like that? Because this is the visionary, right? This is the person that is the inventor. This is a very inspiring, very charismatic person, and they've drawn you in. So that's a lot of energy that you have to deal with, which is perfect. Yeah, and they're also very logical. You've got King of Wands and King of Swords. So again, a person of authority who is going to come in and tell it like it is. And so sometimes these individuals aren't necessarily thinking with their heart, right? They don't have that perfect balance of their head and their heart. They're very logical and very analytical, and they strategize and they tell it like it is. And for you, if you are coming in as the Queen of Cups, somebody that's incredibly sensitive, that might hurt your feelings, right? So be aware of that challenge there, because you're dealing with the Emperor energy, King of Wands, King of Swords. So in that respect, you've got somebody that's really very dominant, and they don't necessarily think with their heart. I was going to say King of Cups. That's what I wanted to see, is somebody. You have a Knight of Cups that might offer you a lot of romance, but you've got overall energy of the King of Swords and King of Wands, which they're not always the most tactful people, right? Yeah, and so this person is going to be grieving, and that's, again, where you're going to step in and you're going to help this individual out. They're going to be grieving a loss, because they're going to have to shed some of these wands to make room for you. Right. And here, this is going to help them gain wisdom, right? This is going to, when they finally accept that they have to take a rest and find the meaning of this Tower moment, they're going to gain a lot of wisdom, right? And they're going to know exactly how to navigate this situation. Okay. So let's see if there's anything else that they want to say here. The Hierophant card is very interesting. It's about your values, your traditions, right? The rules that are established. Yeah, inseparable. Our love is always there despite the distance. Yeah, so if this person is gone, you know, they're a business person, gone all the time, they do think of you, right? Chemistry. They feel a certain chemistry here because they see you as somebody they want to commit with. They make a commitment with. I mean, obviously you have chemistry if you have the Lover's card. Indecisive. Yeah, there's a part of them, because they don't think with their heart, right? They're very logical. They don't really have that balance. They didn't know how to approach you, and it kind of hurt you, obviously. Unappreciated. I felt like you didn't care. Yeah, so there's a part of them that maybe have felt that you didn't see, you just saw them as working too much. But really what they're trying to show you is product. They're trying to show you that, look at all this stability that I'm going to create for you and give to you for our future. And so they kind of don't see how you're not seeing that all of this is for you. All of this is for the stability of the future with you, right? So that kind of, you know, to them, it makes logical sense. But to you, you're thinking, but that's not fair. I really miss you, and I want to be with you, right? And I want to create this with you. You know what I mean? You see, because you're thinking with your heart, they're thinking with their logic side, their mind. And they're not, they are pretty unyielding at times, of course, because you have an Emperor energy plus the King of Wands and King of Swords. Let's see if you've got any advice for you. You are enough. The person you are meant to be with will love you the way you are. You don't need to change. Yeah, so again, this is a warning for the Queen of Cups. They tend to give so much of themselves to the point of detriment, right? They give to the point of exhaustion that they forget themselves, right? So you are enough. They love you exactly the way you are. Don't overburden yourself. Open yourself to love. It is safe for you to let your heart be seen. Don't be scared. Yeah, so you might have closed yourself off because you got your feelings hurt, but know that this individual loves you. Stay optimistic. Positive thinking and faith will bring romance into your life. Great. Stay optimistic. This person may be going through a moment right now. Know that they want to be with you, and they want to create something stable and beautiful and harmonious with you, so stay optimistic. Make the effort. This love is worth taking risks. You are called to move forward. Yeah. So remember, I talked about moving forward, and this person is wanting things to move along. So open your heart, stay optimistic, make the effort to reach out to this individual that might be having a moment, right? So hopefully this was helpful for you. I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day. I love you. Bye-bye.